There you are. Okay.
Okay. Test.
It's working.
Well, I know it's working for you, but on stream. Meter going. Okay. Maybe we'll get the taters done this time.
Maybe.
Okay. Also made a graphic for my merchandise, which who's watching, but or if anybody is, but 5 more days, order and you get 25% off. Yeah, I updated a couple of designs. I got do again, like talked about this last time. Sit and do it.
Yeah.
But I'm liking this new platform. I guess don't know just seamlessly integrates with Twitch, but it might. It's Spreadshirt. I think I might have texted you about it, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's I think one of them that I was looking at because that one has the they allow me to do the designs the way that I want to.
Yes, it's more well, yeah, and actually, it was after you said something or you were texting or I forget what prompted, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna redo my stuff and get it better, and so I just signed up and did all the stuff. Do pretty simple, you know. But yeah, it their I guess their editor or what you call it to where you want to place it on the shirt and stuff a lot yeah, it's a lot nicer than well what I was using. So yeah, it might be one to consider. It's definitely one to consider now just my
Yeah.
perspective after using Teespring, which oh, and I also like the fact that like in your store, um, you can lay how you want the products to look, like or the order and all that, which like Teespring it was couldn't couldn't do it. Like well, you couldn't do it like I wanted, I guess. But yeah, it's a seems like a better even like shopping experience and I'm gonna uh, order a few things, of course, so I can video. I mean, I make a video. I'll probably do another promo. See, I guarantee you, my viewer even noticed anything changed. Probably. I mean, it has gotten some clicks, fair amount actually. Uh, no sales yet, and I don't anticipate it because I don't promote it. But the back end is more intuitive. So yeah, I mean, look at the other ones that gonna work for you and how you're gonna hook it on, but this is definitely way more user friendly and way and understandable. If you're unfamiliar with like how web stores work, and so I don't know if I'd say it's the best, but it's a lot better than what I was using. I mean, a
Yeah.
lot easier. Like, you know, after setting it up, of course, you're gonna want to figure out, you know, some things like a background for your store, like the color scheme you're gonna go with, and text and the font. I mean, there's more to it than just the shirt design. Or if you're gonna have make a logo and all that. And that's the thing. I updated some logos and stuff, so it's a little different. I need to maybe rebrand on my too. I haven't settled in. These are just a couple of different logos, and then I have, of course, my Well, you saw the link shared, so got some other things that are organic. But I'm trying to think of designs that are more like that rather than just my brand. Yes,
Yeah.
because not everybody's gonna want a mind name. Might just want cool shirts or sticker, or these have water bottles. They have nicer hats. They have nicer. That's the other thing. Yes, that's it. They have a lot nicer shirts and other things other than shirts, like some nice pullovers, like kind of zip up, what I'd call like sort of a kind of like a track jacket type thing. And then they're like good like good brands, like they have Under Armour or Adidas, and oh, what are some of the other ones? The Russell Athletic or whatever. So it's kind of more. They have some more performance stuff, and then nicer, the nice golf like polo or shirts. That
Hmm.
material, that type of
Yeah.
material, that wicking stuff. Again, I have like my company shirts and stuff, and I love those. I wear them kind of somewhat regularly to work. I had they gave them to me for going to trade shows and stuff. I did more of that back in the day, and
Hmm.
in like UNK and stuff like that. That not, at least for the near future. I'm not. Yeah. So anyway, they have those kind of options too. And then they have like two tone. So like let's say you wanted black center. I don't know what your design would garner to, but you wanted white center, black sleeves, or black center, white sleeves, or blue sleeves, or different colored gray. Just if there's just more options. I was pretty impressed. And then, like I said, the other stuff, like the stickers, rather than just a standard coffee mug, everybody has too many. They had the actual like nicer one, and thermal mugs, stuff like stuff you'd actually want to use. Water insulated water bottle.
Hmm.
I mean, again, I haven't ordered anything yet because it's still so new. But they just looking at them, they're Teespring, which what I was using before, didn't even didn't even have that stuff, and that's the kind of
Yeah.
stuff I was looking for. There was one other company, and I cannot remember for the life of me, that had things like like keychains and did pens, a lot of that other stuff like trade show, and then one of the other things reason is because I like had tire gauges and things, stuff like that, kind of be on brand a little.
Yeah.
Tape measures, granted those are pretty crappy, but still I have a bunch of those things, picked up, put them in a car, because I use a tape measure quite often when I'm out sometimes. Or like pocket knife type.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's actually, what do you have to lose is try it, and then if you don't like how it is, close up shop and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, at your scale, it's trial and error.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was kind of thinking about come up with some varying logos on your, and that's what I did. I was like, I like the kind of the motorcycle Junkman's Adventures deal, but then I got to thinking, like, yeah, but that's a lot of words. Doesn't look good doesn't print well. Why not have just different logos? They're all
Yeah.
the same,
Well,
You know how some moto companies are kind of that way.
what I want to do, or what I want to eventually do, is like, yeah, I might have my like the Streamlabs store that has my logo on it or whatever.
Yeah.
But um, I wanted to do something like Teespring, and then have kind of like what you're talking about, like not necessarily my stuff, but a stuff designed by me that
Right.
someone might maybe want that isn't branded.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of where I was going with my little. Of course, I do have my name on it, but the little kind of Speedy logo. Maybe I haven't done it yet, but I'll just do one that's just that tire with arms, and that might something. Oh, okay, that's interesting.
When I get on the street here, the dog wants out, so
Oh, okay.
I'll have to set the.
Is that the GPS or what?
I got the GPS on it, but yeah, I have to set the GPS and or GPS and cruise and go let her
Well, I'll
out.
be full here in a second. Trailer fills up quick.
There we go. Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay. Oh, I know. Did you get your stream deck yet?
No, actually, it's delayed, so I won't get it for another week.
Oh, okay. I think
But
you'll like it once you get the buttons set up to do what you want, because then you can just reach over and like boop, and it'll whatever you tell them to.
yeah, when I was telling Average about it, um,
And those things have come down in price now that they're reasonable. I mean, I remember when that first came out, probably like 10 years ago. Oh, that's cool, but like 100 and much, 100 and too much.
yeah,
And now they're obviously for the basic.
Um, yeah, and he was showing me what he had his kind of set up to do. He did say that he has to go through his again. But and then casual set has one too, and he likes it. And it was average kind of gave me like I had some ideas of why I wanted it and stuff, but average gave me even more. Um,
Well,
I just think it'll
if you,
I think it'll be a little bit it'll be worth the money.
oh yeah, yeah,
I think
well,
it'll bring a bit more entertainment. Plus, it make the stream a little bit more lively. But and then also I'll be able to do some stuff with just a touch of a button
yeah,
when I get it set up.
yeah. Well, and I in the past I've looked at them for when I was running out in the garage doing stuff because I you well, why I haven't the last several times I've streamed from the garage is run a two camera setup because I gotta walk over and use the mouse to switch cameras and all. And see, Stream Deck, I just set it up to change the inputs and all. I could have that thing within arm's reach on a USB extension. Wherever I'm working, just hit the button and change the camera view if I want to. Because usually, I'd set up one that's kind of a tight shot so you can close up of whatever I'm working on, and then tight shot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I've looked. It's just I I wish I could do more of those projects because like the working on my bike stream there, and that was pretty just impromptu. I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll just uh, set up the camera and go. And I just hastily put it on a tripod on my crappy tripod actually,
Yeah.
and then just went. I didn't even do my lavalier mic. That's why the audio's a little not as good as it could be because I didn't even want to screw with hooking. And not that that takes a lot, but it just gotta run the wire through my shirt and clip the thing on my back and you know transmitter and stuff. I just wanted to work, and I was like, well, maybe I'll set this up. But it got. I mean, not just you watching. There was other people watching. Plus, after the stream or the archive, gotten I don't know over 200 views now. Which like these streams, like after the archive or whatever, they end up with 50 or 60 or you know.
Yeah.
This isn't on brand, I guess, because the last three videos, working on that bike, when I looked at the demographics, it's 0% until you get to I forget where the cutoff is, but it's something like 60, and then it's like 65 plus, and that's where all the which naturally makes sense. It's a vintage bike, but I thought maybe I'd get some guys in their 40s like me that are working on these things.
Yeah.
Anyhow, yeah, so I mean, those kind of streams I would do it if I could figure out how to do that consistently. It would grow some that kind of. But anyway, back to the Stream Deck. In that situation, say I would have set up one that was real close up to like my hand, so you could really see what's going on, stuff, and then and then like a be right back, so button.
Well, and that's one of them. I actually have the image loaded up in my Streamlabs, but to get to it, currently is I have to get out of the
Tab
game
out, yep.
and then go over and turn it on and stuff. So it's like this would be really easy, and then I it wouldn't take me much to do stream ending also at work because I've already got everything all set up. But so I might be able to do. I should be able to do that stuff.
Yeah, or like
and
a stream beginning and then getting your map and
I still like it's a little harder on out of order because you're in the game. The views you want to capture are kind of in the game already, but
Yeah. Well, I
on,
get
on
that.
this on this game, I really like kind of showing the map that I'm gonna be on.
Yeah. Well, it just depends. Like with my garage streams, but see, I don't know. I'm in. Maybe you should join it. You got to join the site. Well, you're not on Reddit, but you got to join Reddit first. But because you have a little bit more time to engage, there's a Discord for YouTube. Well, I guess not YouTube, but you don't. Wait a minute. You don't have to be to get in a certain chat. Got to be YouTube partner. But there's just a YouTube like creators subreddit, and there's big guys that are in there, um
Hmm.
uh like honest to God, real real people like I watched and didn't realize they're in the same Discord as me and stuff. And I'm not super active in there, but I do follow some things, and like thumbnails and stuff. Occasionally, I've done there's like thumbnail review and stuff for me. But there's a whole section around live streaming and Twitch and monetization and other revenue streams and all that. And there's these, you know, big to small. I mean, there's probably more people like us in there, but there are some million subscriber channels that are full time guys in there. Actually, one that I can think, well, one that's a more music channel. What the heck of it is, I sort of kind of uh online friended him when he was like nothing creator. Now he's got a million subs or whatever, but his channel is called The Longest Solo Ever, and he does music stuff, creates music, and he's in there. That because like it's funny, I got one of his in videos got recommended, or he was on somebody else's channel that was I've talked to that guy on Discord kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then there's some other video essay guys that I watch that I've seen them grow. Yes, that's the point. Remember when they were 100, over the 100, into the 100. And again, where you have a little more bandwidth to experiment or take, and just like you're learning from the other farm simmer streamers, you be able to benefit. I don't I don't have the time to engage as much as I would like to. I mean, it's not for getting new viewers. It's definitely against just posting your links, But if it's like-minded,
Yeah. Speaking of content, so then kind of, well, I've been looking at some stuff Facebook Market. I always kind of look on there. Anyways, I've seen some RC trucks kind of come up
oh,
and whatnot, and I was just like, I kind of like that one. I kind of like that one. I don't like one of them I didn't like, or I thought he was a little bit too high on and whatnot. Anyways, I was like, I finally went today, and I'm like, I'm like, I've just been sitting on these batteries for these trucks I ordered, I only ordered one truck. I mean, I've talked about the story before. I only ordered one truck for $20, and I ended up with five of them.
oh, right.
Well, the only thing that I know of currently is the batteries um, were like cut. Um, I don't know why, but anyways, uh, so I was like, I'm like, this has just been sitting here forever. I haven't done anything with them. I'm like, I'm thinking about, I'm thinking about RCs. I'm like, I got stuff I was gonna make contact with. I haven't done it yet. I'm like, I should just pull the trigger because it's only like $25. I should pull the trigger and just get the batteries and make the make the videos I was gonna make with them.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what I'm gonna do with them because here's my theory on this, and this is why I think I ended up with them. Um, I think they weren't like a. I think they ran, but I think they're like a really crappy RC.
Yeah.
I mean, I paid half off, but they were like supposed to be $40. I think they're like, they're. I think they're.
Well, even at $40, you might be pushing that it was
Well,
even a very good
here,
RC.
well, okay. When I say bad RC, I mean I don't mean like an RC um like this when you're a little kid and you get an RC and they only go so fast or slow
Right.
and they look cool but they're slow.
Yeah.
These I think they'll gain a little speed, but they're gonna be so cheap that they're just gonna kind of rattle apart, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Well, kind of speaking
Um,
of that, the one I got for Tucker, which is the same model. Well, it's a little bit upgraded, as in got proportional steering and proportional throttle. Which the one Derek, you got for Derek was a earlier version, at which didn't. But again,
yeah,
for what it was gonna be, it was perfect. But and I still had fun messing with it. Just ran it around a little bit. But anyway, yeah, Tucker's that thing's still going. I mean, had the plastic drive shaft, broke eventually, put some metal ones in. I mean, yeah, it's a low performing crawler, but I mean he loves it, and it's I wouldn't say he abuses it, but it definitely doesn't get treated nice. I mean, it goes through mud and water, and heck, we were doing the snow, and I don't clean up after, and it's
yeah.
still going. All I do is keep the batteries charged for when we mess around, and it was been pretty good in the snow. I mean, when it gets deep. Um, but yeah, I mean, and that was, those went up since it was like $5 or something like. But
Yeah.
they have the nicer ones that are more on par like what mine is. Mine's not a high. Um, but they got the Chevy K5 Blazer that's kind of like mine. It's the
Yeah.
Blazer. It's on sale for $89. It's a I guess it's a 124, so it's gonna be a slightly smaller than mine,
Yeah.
but same. They're about the same. But 4-wheel drive, lock differentials, like actual real suspension.
124 should actually fit in your hand.
No, no, this isn't a true 124.
Okay. I was gonna
Yeah,
say 124, that should actually you could put your palm out flat and you could almost just sit it.
yeah, no, these aren't, because see, mine is supposed to be 1/18 scale, but
Yeah.
it's closer to size wise. I mean, dimensionally and stuff. Compare it to like a plastic model that would be 1/18 scale. It's more like
Mm.
1/12. You know, so like when I say 124, it's probably closer to like a 1/16 scale. So type
Okay. Well,
type size.
a lot of them. Um. So my
But I
team.
thought of
So my
you
team.
because it kind of would fit you.
So that monster truck that I had back in the day, that was a 110 scale, and then a lot of now, or especially like the ones that I've been, these off-brand ones or whatever you want to call them. Most of them are either 118 or 116. Occasionally you'll find a 112 or a 110, but
Well, and see that's the thing. Like your old T Max, as a 110. See, the Tucker's is advertised as a one, but it's not that. you know.
yeah,
Um, so I think the scaling is across brands just definitely varies because I've watched reviews on stuff. Oh, hey, casual. I meant to say hi. I saw you in the
casual.
chat, but we were chatting away. But anyway, uh, uh, yeah. So it's like they I think it varies by brand because like I saw reviews of like the one I had. They put it up next to the Traxxas version um of it. This is FMS, and like they're different sizes, and there's both advertised as 1/18. You know, and neither of them are
Yeah.
probably truly 1/18 scale. That's the kicker. And then there's like Axial's another good brand. Like FMS is kind of I feel like is kind of the up and coming, like, yeah, like you'd say off brand, but it's a known brand, but it's not like
Yeah.
known like how Traxxas is. And honestly, the reason I went with that versus the Traxxas because I wanted that square body Chevy. But the reason I went to it was a couple of reasons. I mean, partially the 2-speed Traxxas doesn't have that. And the Traxxas probably has a little bit better performance, but a lot of it is Traxxas was just a little bit. They were both similarly priced, but Traxxas was expensive. Like I didn't seem like you were getting much more value other than the name. People say, "Oh well, it's easier." I don't know. So many go on eBay or even other websites. There's plenty you can get parts for this FMS because all the other like knockoff brands use all the same parts. This just it's got a metal frame, it's got metal forelinks and oil-filled shocks. I mean, a lot of stuff. The only benefit of the Traxxas was like the body comes. It's still a realistic body, but it comes off easy. Like mine,
Yeah.
you got there's like 6 screws and I mean, you're not just swapping bodies. The Traxxas, they made it so it's like 2 little flips and you can make the if you bought the Ford and you wanted the Chevy, you could just switch them, or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas FMS, the platform is the same, but like if you want to switch bodies, like mine, because mine's the long wheelbase, no other body make fits. It's the long, and I wanted the long wheelbase, the long box. Because I wanted the realism. I didn't care so much about it. I want that crawling scale realism kind of, and that's what I got out of it.
Yeah.
Versus they would call your track, learning some of the lingo. They'd kind of your T-Max is like in almost like the basher, designed to jump it and flip it, and it's gonna take it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of parts and stuff, I got to thinking about it because I was like, okay, well, what if I don't know what I'm going to do with these once I get them running. I think probably what I'll start off doing is maybe take them down and see the nephews and let them run it around a little bit because it's kind of a cooler truck. And then it's like a truck that I don't care about if they wreck it into a pole or something while I'm there. But I was like, well, what if I decide that I like it or whatnot, or something, and something breaks? It's like, well, I may have to consider thinking about. I like my current job. I have to pay for it, obviously, but I could design my own parts basically and have them make it out of metal.
Yeah.
Now, granted, like I'd have to, if it was aluminum, I'd have to order it in, and that might get a little bit more spendy, but it was like, yeah, I was just sitting there like thinking about it. It's like, oh, I could maybe, depending on what breaks and whatnot, but what I think is probably going to happen is what's going to break is where the dog bones go into the wheels and stuff like that. Those cups and stuff. From what I've seen on other channels, that's the typical stuff that kind of break on them.
Yeah.
So, anyways, like I said, I was looking and I was like, you know what? I'm like, these have been sitting here for years. I wanted to make content with them, I've been kind of holding up the chain of other things I was gonna make. I'm like I'm just gonna I'm just gonna pull the trigger, get them, and get the. Well, I bought. So I've got 5 of them. One of them is not gonna be operational. It's definitely a donor because like the one axle is just completely busted. Um, I guess if I thought maybe if I like the others and I thought I wanted to try making my own parts, that would be a good one to maybe try it on. Um, but I like the batteries come in two, so I just bought one set of batteries, and I figure I can try all 4 trucks out, see if they work, and if they do, and I like what I'm seeing and stuff, I'll buy another pack of batteries, and
Yeah.
if not, I guess I'll get rid of them. Like I said, I only spent $20 on one, so technically I spent $4 on all of them. I mean,
Yeah.
$4 a piece. So
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with like God, again, Tuckers I got because yeah, I didn't I didn't know how treat it, how he'd take it, how interested he'd stay in it, and again, we go some time without driving them. I mean, winter time, it's summertime. We go on our walks and stuff, basically just drive them. And we're gonna do some more camping and stuff. The last time, kind of we got rained out, which was a place where we had creek and stuff, so we could drive them through the shallow parts of the water. And had our gold pan and stuff, and our little miniature sleuths stuff. So that was the whole thing. Is like I made a trailer to all the sleuths, and so we drove them over to the creek and stuff.
yeah,
Set them up, and then they had their other. It's like down. Ended up. Fortunately, that happened late afternoon to evening, and we were able to ended up packing up. but but that's why I got the 4-wheel drives, the more crawler types. Then like what you had, something that's that, because then we can run
yeah,
in the backyard, and unless there is a bit of a danger some of those bigger ones because you run them into somebody, hurt them,
yeah.
those kind of speeds. But
Well, I mean, man, you remember like uh the the air that I used to catch with the one that I had. I mean,
yeah,
it was just freaking insane, like jumping 10 foot up in the air and
yeah. Well, and that's the thing. The new ones, were well, Tom, he, you know, it's weird. He kind of just buys and sells them. He sees a new one and he buys it and then sells one to pay for the other one. And um, yeah, he has a couple that I mean, they drain the batteries quick, but he has basically the electric version of yours that big jump. Um,
I don't have the gas powered anymore. I'm not gonna mess with that anymore.
yeah. Well, most people, yeah, it's all gone to electric because the motors have and batteries have improved so much that there's no reason to
No,
run
well,
nitro.
people still run.
Oh, I know they
People,
do. I'm in some RC Facebook groups, so yeah, I see it. It's just it's not as prevalent. Just 'cause most people,
well, yeah, because
it's the gas powered guys are because they want to screw with it. They want to make drag racers and stuff, and and they go to a closed area and all that stuff. Most
yeah,
people just want to screw around, so it's
yeah,
easy to just. And the batteries are good enough
yeah.
now that they can just.
Well, and part of that too is like without a lot of practice, it's hard to control an RC. Like,
Well, those speeds, yeah. And that was the other thing is I want the crawling, and not that I mean the smaller speeds make it just when you just want to sit in a lawn chair and drive it around, it definitely makes it more relaxing. But there is some skill to drive them like realistically, and then not get stuck, not have to pick it up. I mean, use the hand of God. I got as a term.
yeah,
um, the idea is to do stuff more realistic, like realistically. I mean that the guys that go super, I'm somewhere in. I want it to look realistic, but I'm not gonna go so scale that like guys that have a modified like there's little servos and stuff that you can get that they're like have they make side windows roll up and down. I mean
but
things that and then like
what
winch
you?
and then like winches and stuff like operating like real operating winch.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean like the they're even like okay I can only touch it to just hook it to this tree and then after that they're using their whatever they're doing uh however they're controlling it.
Um,
I mean we got some toe chains and scale toe chain cables. But like we go to around playground stuff it's funny because um with the crawling there's rain just right where you're at. Watching the wow that's pretty neat, lights, brake lights, turn you know. I thought about making a light bar for you.
no, I'm not. I'm just was
Okay.
having a brain. I was having a brain fart.
Okay, that's fine. I was just waiting because I know you got to be getting
I am close, but I was
close.
also
Well, I had to
having.
talk. See, that's another thing I'll tell about. I needed fresh. I am well.
Well, that's
I am looking at RC. I will say I am looking at some RC boats, but I can't really find anything I like, and it doesn't have to be a good one because I don't run it that much. But I want to make a trailer and I can haul a boat and then launch it
yeah.
and stuff because we got on just next to our park and stuff like that. I mean, I have an RC boat. I mean, it's a Nico, so it's more of a toy boat. But I mean, it was like a $60 boat back in the day. Um, on it, and I a lot when I was a kid. But I mean, it takes like 10 C back. I mean, it's before they had good battery packs, so it takes like 10 like C batteries to run and get 20
Yeah.
minutes out of it. So I need to pull it down, and there's and there's ways to wire in a more modern, lithium-ion battery pack. And stuff. I just need to
Yeah.
study a little what I need because it's like a race boat deal, but with rudder and a prop, and it's like one eighth scale. So I mean, it's huge. It's too big for me to make a trailer to pull. I would have to get one of the larger. I've had my eyes on, but they're like $400, and I don't know.
I have. I don't. When I was kind of buying RCs there and trying to get stuff. I don't know. I guess you could say I was trying to accumulate stuff to make content with and stuff, and then I never really went anywhere like I was thinking I was going to go. But anyways, one of them I did buy was a boat, and it'd probably be like a 1/16th scale.
And with the boat, I'm looking for like more of a recreational boat. Something like
This is looks like a more like a speedboat. Like
yeah,
it's got the
that's what
got the
most of them
closing
are.
cabin and stuff. I bought it like it looked cool. I bought it super cheap. I figured for as cheap as I bought it, it's like it might have like 20 minutes of fun or something. And if I like say I take it up here to the park and run it, and then something happened to it, it's like I'd be more concerned about the environment than I would be about
Yeah,
the boat sinking.
yeah, yeah. See, mine again going with the realism is I kind of want to, just like what we used to ride around in. So recreation, like they don't really make those. I mean, the closest they make is like old timey like wooden speedboats, that have open bows and stuff. That's not
Yeah.
what I want. I want, I want like what you see on the lake, or even like a bass boat. If somebody made a something just a remote control bass boat looking,
You
I would
you,
I would buy that
you
maybe.
should be able to make a bass boat for your 3D printer, I would
Well,
think.
see, and I've thought of that, but it just comes down to and I haven't looked online. Maybe there's some files, but I guess that's the point. I just want to buy it, got the transmitter, motor, just buy something that just ready to run. I guess that's the other thing. I've thought about it because it's like, well, yeah, I could make a boat. Well, actually, I have looked at because I remember when we were kids and like you went to Kmart or heck even Alma Franklin, but they had all those plastic toys and stuff, and some of them were boats. And I remember
Yeah,
we had two of them.
I remember them.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were. I remember I could find a picture of it online easily. Uh, but it was and I know bathtub, but also dug holes in the over the farm, like, and filled them with water and um, but it was like yellow and well, I think I had a blue and white one and like a like orange and yellow one.
And
But it was a
for some reason, I remember like a green one.
well, and there's green, but anyway, they were like an open bow kind of like I said pleasure boat, kind of like what you'd see on there, and it's like it would be the right scale, and like what I do is buy a cheap $20 Amazon thing for the controller and electronics and the prop and all that, and just stick it in there. I've thought about trying to really DIY up something like that. I'd have to buy it on eBay because they're on eBay. Um, you know, but that's the kind of boat I'm looking for.
Oh, really so the one I have,
I tell you what, we'll
you
load up here and
the
I'll.
the one. Well, but this is going to be ending here when
No,
we
no,
get
no,
on
no.
the straight.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna get out of your road, and then I'll go catch
Well,
up.
so the one I have would be about that size. It's just that it's a closed top
Yeah,
made to seal everything in, but it looks kind of like those. It's just all black, and man, I remember. I don't even remember all of them that I have. I remember. I remember.
I think I pretty much. Oh shoot! I found it here. I mean, they're not expensive, but they're more money. I thought they would. Yeah, hell, here's the one trailer. But see, this is where I wish I could capture a window real. No, I could. Hang on. Well, I guess.
On what, Discord?
Well, I was gonna do it actually on. Gonna pull up.
Well, I got your I got your Twitch stream pulled up.
Okay, well, maybe it's not delayed. Got it kind of slapped in.
Yeah.
Okay, I just went to. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, it if you can see on screen this kind. I remember this bass boat got the trolling mode,
Oh.
but but yeah, but this is what I remember having.
Yeah. Yeah.
That um, you know, but you'd have to fit the motor in that back. I don't know, but I think this might be the one you're talking about. I remember maybe having this one tugboat. Well, that's
Yeah.
that's not it. But yeah, no, yeah, because yeah, see, it's about 12, 13 inches. That's missing. That's even trailer. But I guess maybe I should see if I could make one. I mean that this is the type something like this is the type of boat. You know, obviously paint it more realistic. And then
Yeah.
then I'd make a trailer to pull behind my RC. All right. Anyway, back to our regular.
Nothing
All
wrong
right,
with
let me
what
catch up.
with kind of what we do here.
Yeah. Back in the game. All right, I'll catch up to you. But yeah, that's the kind I've been.
That's probably good because I think I
You
just
probably are full.
you just hit full.
um, but anyway, yeah, that's the sort of uh, style.
Yeah.
I don't know. I gotta look. Thing is, Harbor Freight used to sell some RC boats. They're definitely toy grade, but they were pretty cheap. I think they were like $30 or something. But I'd seen some videos that they actually got up and moved, but they were still more in the tune of the kind of the racing boat. They'd be cheap enough to steal the guts out of a boat like. I know back in the day, Derek was interested in. I don't know if he ever got, but RC plane, and that's mildly interested. But thing is, you can't just those any into things and
Yeah.
wreck them. I mean, there's some cheap ones that are a little more beginner friendly. That's the other thing. Crash them real and break
Yeah.
them like
Well, um, So my dad always wanted a nice RC helicopter. It never really ever got one, but I was just thinking like those you could have like you could put anywhere and then take off. And then now I'm just thinking about it. It's like, man, now everybody owns drones, which is basically an RC
Yeah.
helicopter.
Yeah, and
Well, I guess not everybody, but
well, that's the and I've thought about those, but again, it's down to like, like, would I use it? Would I?
yeah,
Because like I always thought, oh, I wanted one with that, and yeah, it'd be neat to get some of those overhead shots for things to do. I mean, that's the thing. If we had stuff when we were younger and doing what we had, some really neat just didn't exist. You had to use a real helicopter, that kind of shot, you know.
yeah,
We're just a little too early on that stuff. I wouldn't say we're pioneers, but I would say we're doing more than most people as far as trying to film. And kind of speaking of that,
yeah,
my Mad Mike toys, we talked about that last time.
yeah,
And the actual Mad Mike, somebody tagged him. I post in the dirt biking dirt riders group, and then he didn't comment, but he liked all my pictures. I was like, that can't be like Mad Mike. Well, I went to his profile, and it didn't look fake or nothing, and like just older. Of course, he's got kids.
yeah.
Yeah, it was him. The real Mad Mike.
Speaking of that, man, I did not do very well in
Oh, neither
this
did I.
past
I mean,
weekend.
well, you can say
My problem started right out of the gate in
I
the
had
first
Jet
corner with
first, so
yep, 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 exactly. I
yeah,
kind of altered mine this week, but I also I'm like, is that? I mean, this week will kind of tell us, but it's like, was that just like a fluke race? He just was having a bad night, and it
I
just happened to be the
well,
first night, or
I think so. Well, and everybody. I mean, because Tomac made a dumb mistake on that first lap, and
well,
he didn't
yeah,
recover from it.
he got into the second corner, and it was like he was doing so good, and then all of a sudden, just like, nope.
Yeah, no, I think that's one of those
Then again, maybe the track
airport.
was just that hard. It was just unbelievably hard too.
Here, pull ahead and load, and then
I I can't until you get a little bit more.
okay. I thought it would let you go while it um yeah he yeah, that race was just all out of whack for a lot of people there because well, so I mean, yeah, Tomac, but think like Plessinger wasn't there, like I think yeah, so I did my picks last Sunday. I got, but I picked him again because I think that was just a well, who was it that kind of pushed him over riding into Anderson or somebody? But I think so. The start just didn't work out for him. Katie
Yeah,
got the wild card, so I didn't
it
on
was a
top.
wild card.
Uh, that I chose Stewart, and it wasn't because it was 10th place. Now I can't remember.
I might have chose Stewart too.
Yeah, that's
No,
what
I
I
think
figured, but he
about it.
did
But you
worse
know,
than that.
I mean, that wild card is really hard to pick, anyways, because you're trying to hit one guy in a random spot.
Yeah. Well,
But
exactly, because even though those back marker guys, they're always back markers, but they can range all over the place.
yep. Um, but Anaheim won, especially picking for Supercross. Let's see, you got a comment there.
I
Yep.
Oh, and you're from on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Take note, I've got brand new merch. Check out link in the description or at the bottom of the video.
Anyway,
Stickers,
anyway,
t-shirts, all that stuff. Anyway,
anyways, Anaheim one is just hard to pick for fantasy because
well, you don't know what they're coming off of. Well, kind of the
yeah,
off season, but that super motocross deal, it's just different.
yeah. Yeah, it's a new season. You just don't know how they're gonna do. Even the second race is hard to pick. Now, by the third race, um, it gets a little bit easier. I guess it probably all depends on how you pick races and whatnot. But I tend to pick like more based on consistency,
Well, that's what I do too. But
and
sometimes I'll
as
throw
long as
in, like said, you got to throw. Sometimes I'll throw in like a guy like Plessinger because get into the top five because you just never know where he might land, and I just take a chance that he'll either land in the right spot or at least I'll get the participation points by having him chosen. You
yeah,
know, um, I did have some. I had one person in the right spot. I think it was Tomac because he battled back up to fourth or what. So,
yeah,
but but he might have almost him and Jet. It might have been him going back and forth. Could have been a toss up. Who was the race? Because Jet had the speed to come back. He just so far back around people. So I think he was just lived to race another day, kind of
yeah.
after a while. I didn't see Roxon as high up. That's he's getting old.
But I was thinking he went down in like maybe not the first lap, but he went down eventually in the first few.
Yeah, he had some troubles, but then he sort of came.
But
Well,
you're right. I mean, like or he's. I would think he's older than Eli, even.
well, he is because I mean he was racing, kind of just starting out when Dungy was still a thing. you know, uh,
But they
God,
were, and then they were.
did he even race with Villapoto? Maybe not.
No, I don't think so. I think he was. I think he was after Villapoto when Denji was kind of in his. Yeah, because Roxanne was always like Denji was Mr. Consistency and Roxanne was Mr. All Out Speed.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about this
It,
before, but it's like I'm liking the racing now because it is such at a top level. Like everybody, dang near everybody can win. So it kind of in a way is like going back to I'd say just after just before the McGrath era. Oh, because um, but domination, but where the guys like Jeff Ward and all that, yeah, they were good riders, but it wasn't like they were, you know, uh, but like I don't know. I guess what I say is I don't know if we're ever going to see an era where just have one, one, two guys that are dominant, like the Grath and Carmichael era, where it's you know who to pick in first. It's how to pick the rest of them. you know, now
Yeah.
now the races are all they're all the rest of them. I mean, Jet maybe has the potential to, I guess, quote next Carmichael, as in just the guy who's just starts just winning them all. But I don't know. I just this race shows that because I mean Carmichael had races like this. Granted, he never got back to first, but he would get back to the top 5 after a thing like that. He just had the speed. Same with Stewart, James. I just don't know. I just think the field now is we won't ever just see domination. I'm, like I'm really in a way rooting for Chase Sexton. Just because he seems like somewhat of an underdog, and he's good.
I'm not. I'm almost. I'm not completely against him, but I'm almost like I don't want to see him win.
Yeah. But there's a lot of. But see, I can't just say pin it all on one guy because I like a lot of them. That's the
Well,
thing. I like to see. I
I,
like
I,
Jet.
I,
I like Jet, and I like Sexton. I like. Well, Kenny's just been a bit of a disappointment, but I do like seeing him do well. Kind of like he's kind of almost a Kevin Win, you know.
yeah.
Uh, um, and I want to. I'd like to. I don't think he can win a championship, but I'd like to see Anderson being a title just because he was in there when Dungy and he was just almost. You thought he was going to be almost like the next Dungy, just might make it, Um, Barsha, I could kind of care less about. Yes, or yeah, I guess I tell you what, Tomac. I mean, this is his last season. Good because he's had plenty of time to do what he needed to do, but just injury. But he just never got on either. He was supposed to be next big thing, and it just didn't really happen. And
See, I'm the other way. I think it did happen, and then he got the injury, and then.
well, and I know who I'd really like podium a lot more and being is Plessinger. Just because
Yeah.
he seemed
Actually,
a good
I would
old
love.
he reminds me of Kenny Bartram, even though he wasn't a very good racer. He was a freestyler, but raced. That's who he reminds me of, I guess.
No, there's there's kind of an underdog. I mean, he gets up there and he gets in the top 5 in the podiums and occasionally and stuff. But there's a guy that he could get behind, if he wins a race.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of that race, Deegan had a off. He didn't start off like you'd think he would either. And so I just think it was a weird night for top guys because again, Jet didn't come out like you thought.
Gotta wonder if the track wasn't. Maybe there was something with the track that you're not seeing.
Yeah.
Too.
And again, like that's the other thing. Like with Deegan, it's like I don't not like him, but I don't like him. It's kind of and maybe what I don't like is sort of the silver spoony. The other guys kind of had to work to get that name recognition. Maybe that's it because he's got the talent. I'm gonna knock that. He definitely.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe that's part of it. His dad had to work to make what he had. He made something out of nothing, just like Pastrana and the others of that era. but got, and that's no fault of his, but he's kind of boring. Feel like he had a little bit, probably had a little bit extra leg up just in getting support. Like, for example, like a Plessinger. He had to probably work making it. He had to prove himself. But otherwise, in the 250s, I don't have a favorite, I guess, necessarily.
I will say I was a little disappointed that Kitchen couldn't start
Yeah, Levi.
and kind of be able to compete against Egan.
Yeah.
Like he was there and he did. They said he was there. He did a practice round, but he just wasn't feeling well, and they decided that he'd run it East Coast then.
Well, they'll all eventually get to the 450s and see how they take out. I mean, that'll be the real test for all of those guys.
Yeah, I do watch a little bit of the 250s. Like I watch the mains. Well, I don't even watch the heat races and stuff. And then during the motocross season, I'll watch them too. So like I've kind of gotten to know. For a while, I didn't think I kind of felt like I didn't know who was up and coming, but now I kind of feel like I kind of have an idea.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't really say who's gonna take. It's gonna be close. I mean, again, I I hope Jet can it and that stuff. I guess just because he's starting to rack the stats up. But again, I like a bunch of the other ones too, so hard to say who I really like to see. I guess if I had to say, probably Jet, just because he did so well as rookie season.
I like to see Jet, but I also kind of wouldn't mind seeing Hunter just win one.
Well, yeah, it'd be nice if he could.
Because between the two brothers, Hunter seems to be Mr. Consistent.
Yep.
And Jet seems to be more like, I mean, Jet is very consistent, but he seems to be more
he'll
speed
make those, well, that's it, and he'll make those dumb mistakes and throw it away. Well, and kind of like maybe not so much like Sexton. No, he would be right up there, and then he'd throw, he'd be leading, and then he'd just throw it, do a dumb thing, throw it away.
But okay, now I guess my opinion of Sexton is that he's Mr. Consistent, except for when Jet gets up there and then he has to try and do something and he gets.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That he the last couple laps he'll crack and then lose it. Crack,
yeah,
pressure,
because he's trying to win the race, which I mean that's obviously the point, but he's trying to win the race and then he ends up riding a little bit too far out of what he can control. And one of my coworkers is going to be at Denver, and he's never been to, well, he's been to Denver, but they decided this time they were going to take Amtrak out there. And he had mentioned this to someone else, and I happened to be standing close by, and so I started talking to him about it. Like, I was like, oh, you're going out there. Well, I kind of knew it was in the motocross, and and so it's like it doesn't surprise me that he's going out there for that. And then he's like, yeah, I'm gonna take Amtrak out there, and we've never done it before. We thought it'd be kind of cool and stuff. And it's like, so, I mean, I don't think I settled it too much, but I'm like, I've taken the train several times, and it's like I just took it, I don't know, a few years ago, and I'm like, there's some things that you probably should be aware of.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not that it's unsafe, but there's a few situations that you might want to know about beforehand.
Well, generally the more eccentric people, I'll say, probably take the train. I remember
More,
we did it,
I
you know,
don't know. I don't.
as
My
kids.
opinion of. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say we last time I rode it was I was a kid, and we did it, and Grandma picked me up and stuff like that. I remember it being just some kind of weirder people then
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
You
Well,
know, it's like always kind of
because
been that way. You know.
it's a cheaper way to travel. So, so yeah, because those that's how those they. It's cheaper to. It's like 4 times more to buy an airplane ticket. So,
Yeah.
and they want to get from one coast to another. So yes, that's that's exactly. But I mean, there was other things too on that trip, that last trip I took out there that were like I I am pretty sure there was a guy that was gonna try and steal my backpack at the Denver station,
Well,
and
yeah.
the only reason that he didn't was a because I kind of saw him and kind of saw what he was doing and stuff, and I kind of had an idea where he was going, what he was doing with what he was doing. But then there was a waffle stand right at the end where I was sitting, and I think they saw him too, so they called him over and gave him a waffle.
Oh,
And then by the time he turned around and come back, he saw that I had changed a few things up and that he wasn't going to be able to get away with it real easily. And he just looked at me and he's just like, you know, just dropped an F bomb.
yeah. That's the thing. I mean, I I wish it was a better experience. I would. And it's not that we won't get a little older or something. Maybe we travel. But yeah, yeah. Well, and I've never traveled by bus, but I can't imagine. I'll, I can't. I bet I can imagine planes, trains, and automobiles is probably fairly sort of accurate, I guess. As far as just the kind of people impact on. It's,
Yeah, I've never been on a bus either. I just
I mean, the train where if you're going long enough distance, get spend an extra money on whatever they call it, the rooms. They're not big, but they're at least you can fuck your shit. Be away from,
yeah,
I guess.
yeah, yeah.
And that's probably better I consider it. It's like if we want to go to California, but go that far. um,
Well, and what you're doing would be all right because man, I have to get on at 2 o'clock in the morning here,
yeah.
unless they're running late or something. Which they've been. It
But see,
wasn't too long ago. They were running late all the time. It seemed like.
see, Katie took it one time, got back in 2009, something. married yet or just married or whatever, but she had to finish up some college. Still back there. Um, can't exactly remember the timeline on that, but that's the thing is it's like, she had to leave at midnight here to get how it was, and we kept checking the deal, and then light rail
Yeah.
down there, and we thought we were honestly going to be a little late because the time kept checking the time, kept changing. And then all of a sudden it said, "Oh, it'll be there in like 45 minutes." Like, well, that doing what we're doing, it's like, well, it takes damn near that long to get on the light rail and all that because I was gonna wait. Dump her off
Yeah.
the car. So, but yeah, it was like, yeah, it ended up we got there and it still was waiting for a half hour or whatever or more. Yeah, it's just so inconsistent timing. I thought about actually kids can ride it, there and pick me up, but thing is like getting stuff there, I wouldn't want to leave my car at the Inglewood station. I mean, people do, but I wouldn't now the way things overnight. That's how we would have to do it. Ride.
Yeah.
That's why I always figured if we do it, it'd be a like cross country type of deal. Make it kind of worth it rather than hours.
Yeah. Well, I think getting on and going up to the mountains or something would be um neat.
Yeah,
I
I
I
I've
mean
never really.
I've only done that once, but well, and even like I've thought about this before. It's like, well, I don't know if I necessarily want to take that mode of transportation again, like I did a few years ago, just because of the way things were on the not like just the kind of people that I was running into and
Yeah,
stuff. Um, but I think if I were to go up to say Winter Park or something, I think it would be okay because then I could get on the holders and never have to get off until I got up there.
yeah.
So I wouldn't have to deal with any of that craziness.
Well, that's it. The patience, you know.
Yeah.
Well, and talking about it, like you're, it comes up on online discussion. Much for America's so every other country in the world has good public transportation speed. I wouldn't like, dude. Have you looked at a map in our country? Not really set up for that. People,
Yeah.
people, people. Well, also people want to be like more in control of their own destiny. As in, I want to. Oh, I want to go somewhere now. I can just hop in my car. The whole people that are more like
Um,
anti-car and stuff. It's like, do you forget there's rural areas and like the nearest Walmart for some people is 60 miles away, 60, 70 miles away, or
yeah.
real stores, forget even if you don't like Walmart, get like real groceries outside of your staples. You're going stuff. I mean, for it too. It's like, but growing up, I mean, we did a lot of our shopping party, but you know, fill-in stuff. God, we had to go to Holdridge with that 30-minute drive one way. So
Yeah,
you know, it isn't just like, well, you know, you can't no train. You know, you're not gonna develop some sort of mass transit that's gonna be affordable for people to. I just, I'm not trying to get off too much of a tangent. It's like, but then again, like with Amtrak and stuff, could be run better. But the problem is they have to prioritize freight because that's what's moving on rails.
yeah,
But yeah, cross country could be actually better. It's thing is still though, it only hits some major cities. It doesn't even hit all the major cities. You know,
yeah,
like I mean, uh, like let's say you wanted to get to Kansas City, that'd be a you know, a bunch of transfers to do that. You know, because
well, not just a bunch of transfers, but that would actually be, um, like for me, if I wanted to do that by train, I'd I'd have to go a little bit north and then jump on a bus to go south to hit them.
exactly. Well, and that's the thing is you're in a unique position. There is a decent stop. I mean, it always stops at Holdridge,
Yeah,
but like it it ain't guaranteed to stop, say like at McCook. And you know, and there's all those other little towns in there, but there's no stops. You know,
oh yeah, well, they used to be, but they started taking them out because
yeah.
it
Well, they probably
because
still do whatever they call them, like on call stops or whatever. But I mean,
no, so like they they kind of, from what I remember of it as a kid, you know, they used to stop, um well, they'd stop in Minden and stuff, and
yeah. But see, then if
now they've kind of cut those out, and then like if you want to get on the train when you're in Minden, you either have to go east or you have to go west half an hour, and you you don't have a, they took some of those stops out. You have to go to like a bigger town to
yeah,
get on it now.
yeah. I mean, well, and the whole deal, like walking. Yeah, look at where I live. Like it's not any of that. I mean, I saw a video about it. Like, hey, you live in part of Denver, suburb or whatever. Worked like where I work. It's like that would be like a, you know, 50-minute commute. It takes me 25 minutes on a bad day. You know,
Yeah,
it's like, and yeah, just well, part of it's poor planning, but again, it just aren't stuff isn't built that way. And
no,
people truly
everything's
don't. That's the thing. Not everybody wants to be tied to a train or a bus schedule. Be able to go do. People want freedom, freedom to move around. I mean,
yeah,
even why poor are the poor, they figure out a way. You know, may not be registered, may not be insured, but they figure out a way to keep a car limping along because it's still cheaper and more convenient for them to, you know, drive a POS that's unsafe car around than to try to use station. They can't walk
yeah,
quite. I mean, that's just the reality. And it sounds all nice on paper, and that's why for me it's like a train trip be a treat or an experience. That'd be part of the vacation. It's not necessarily because it's cheaper rather than flying. Because hell, flying's in my opinion. I don't like flying, pure fact of the airports and the people you have to deal with, not necessarily the other passengers, personnel.
Oh, I don't. I guess
I mean,
I
I
don't
enjoy the flight,
I
the
don't fly
actual
too
flight.
much, but I haven't really minded it's the few times
See,
I have flown.
the getting to the airport, parking, walking, or finding your way around, or and sitting and waiting, and security and all that, yes, just negates the fun of being in the plane and taking off and that part of it and everything from a bird's eye view. It just it ruins it. That's why I like when I was flying a little bit there somewhat frequently, and I was like, people do this all the time. Yes, they used to it, but I don't think I could. And I knew my way around because I had airports because I had been to them several times, going to the same places, so I knew even when I knew where the rental car was and how to get in and out of Minneapolis or back east, stuff like that, And this was pre having a smartphone and GPS and all, so paper map stuff and kind of little wasn't wasn't super.
Yeah,
The front and the back end of the trip is not very, so it makes the trip not
yeah,
tell that those times I went back east had to. I mean, it was kind of neat from an experience standpoint, but just having to run to commit to catch commuter flights, these little 30-minute deals that just popped states, like a lot of messing around, nothing. I mean, I guess one thing I would say about those commuter flights is they were a lot nicer than cross country part because it wasn't it wasn't tourists, or it wasn't, oh, I'm going to visit grandma people. It was business people who are there. They get in, they put their shit down and sit down and shut up.
yeah.
you know but well, and actually, even though they were small planes, they were actually more comfortable because, again, they're just there to haul small amounts of people just for, well, relatively short distance quickly. Actually, yeah, comfortable. Yeah, that's my issue with flying is the airport.
When I flew down to Dallas last, like, I mean, granted, I was in the airport up here is kind of small, and it, you know, you always hear everybody say, well, you got to be there an hour before and everything. Well, you show up an hour before here, you show up before the security guys, and everybody shows up because they, they don't, they're not there like all the time. They're only there just when the flights are in, the TSA guys and whatnot. Well, then I don't. So that part wasn't bad. Then I got down to Dallas. That part wasn't bad because I wasn't driving. I met the president down there, and um, then when I got done doing what I was doing down there, flying back wasn't too bad because they dropped me off at the airport, and I just had to. I was there. I was there probably an hour and a half early, and it's like just got in line, got everything checked in, and um,
Oh, hey, Gold. Hey, Ronnie.
hey, Gold.
Caught a few of your archive streams. You've been putting out some content lately here, I've noticed. looking real good actually. Upped your game a little. But yeah, going back to flying, and that just not a fan of the rigmarole to get in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of flying anything. It's just it's the anxiety of airport times.
Yeah, I could understand that.
Oh,
When we flew down to we were flying down to Brownsville, Texas, and we had to stop in Houston to get on a red eye, and I think our plane was all the way across on the other side of the um other side of the airfield, so we had to go all the way. It was, and we had like 15 minutes to do it. So speaking of running,
well, that was now that that time. Yeah, I had uh a transfer Newark, New Jersey. 'Cause
oh,
that.
we're getting into the point that this is our money.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yep. Um, but yeah,
I
because
don't remember what we did. We buy an we I don't know if we got. Well, we do have one, but I don't know if it. Um, I don't remember if that will take. Look. No, I think that's just the basic one. Yeah, so we'll have to sell this. Okay, that's all right. We'll make some money.
saw it. We're probably not gonna get done on this. Tired, so we'll fill this up one more time and then I call. But we should be able to finish it next stream. One little strip here and then this triangle there.
Yeah. I got to I don't
You
well
gonna
I'm
be on
gonna
this
work
in the morning?
I plan on it, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how.
The only morning I may not be on is this weekend is maybe Sunday. I we're waiting to hear from the girlfriend if we're going to Lincoln or not.
Gonna be. Well, I don't know if it's messy. All that cold
It's
weather
what,
that's coming your
yeah,
way is already started here. It just
yeah.
started and it's supposed to
Well,
be
actually,
-5 or
our actually the front just came through today, started it or one of the edges of it because it
well,
was
it's
a nice
snowing
beautiful.
here.
It was a nice beautiful day, and then um, all of a sudden at 3 o'clock you can see dark gray clouds off to the west, and then the second then all of a sudden the wind picked up and the clouds were overhead, and it got cold quick and windy. Yeah, so I was originally planning on going myself, anyways, to get rid of some fish tanks and had a deal worked out with a guy and whatnot. Well, I was because she likes to go to the grocery stores there and do some shopping, and I was saying, well, you know, I'm gonna go. If you want to go, you can. And I told her that I think Monday. Well, then I saw the weather report on Tuesday. And I'm like, oh crap! I'm like I just said I was gonna do this, and then I was like, I should have looked at the weather first because now it's supposed to be cold and crappy, and so then I told her I wasn't gonna do it. Well, I found out she was really looking forward to. She was looking forward to going, and I was like, well, if she wants to go in the weather, if the roads aren't too bad, I'll take her. So, but I just said it. I'm not gonna deal with the tanks and whatnot. The guy doesn't need them, anyways. Like this is a breeder guy that I know,
Oh, okay.
and I've been talking to him. I This second time I've had to put it off, but it's like it's winter time. It's just gonna happen. I mean, but anyways, I do not know yet if we're going or not. We're kind of waiting and gonna decide later. But I told her if she wants to go, we'll go.
I think it's. I'm curious to see what the temperature is make up because it's saying like -5 or into the
See,
negative.
see, here it's just supposed to be cold and windy tomorrow. I think twenties
It's
maybe,
snowing. It's snowing right now. Probably
and
got
then
2 inches.
on Sunday I thought it was only supposed to get down to 17, which is cold here, obviously. And but then Monday was supposed to be the worst for us because it was supposed to not the high for the day was 10 degrees. Um, on Monday. Originally, like at the beginning of the week, they were saying the high was going to be that on Sunday, but they've kind of changed it since then.
Um, yeah. Well, that's the thing. This rolled in a little quicker than supposed to have been up to this. Well, it started about the time I left for work. So I was
Yeah.
planning on got home cars and that for. But that'll have to get done this.
Oh yeah. Speaking of cars and that stuff, I got the jack this week. Well, and I also got the driver this week.
Okay.
Um. So the next time I have to do all that, I won't have to use the emergency equipment.
Yeah.
And I bought the low profile jack like you were. I didn't think about that with the Eclipse, but
Yeah. I
when
mean
you
that
mentioned that,
other
I was like,
one might have worked, and that was my only reservation. Is well, it might not fit under there because even
but
my
see, when I
Impala
was looking at what,
that jack. I mean, I have some nice floor jacks, but I know in a pinch I've grabbed essentially that one kind of buy had for probably 30 years now. Um, and it barely slides under there just because low enough profile even for like the Alice. So that's why I got the
no,
thing. It's like, well, the Mitsubishi, it might not fit under it.
well, not hearing that about the Impala, maybe it was, but I wasn't even thinking about the Mitsubishi. I was just thinking about the pickup and the car,
Yeah, but you
the
might have
Impala.
to mention work. You might need work, so you need it to fit under
Yeah,
there.
now that you mentioned that, yeah, because we were talking about that dent pop.
Well, things like that, or
Yeah.
right. I think here, so it's and we'll
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, we'll definitely.
Yay.
Okay. Well, oh, I think I got her down.